Here's Donald Trump on his tax policy. Listen in.
Under my plan, I'll be reducing taxes tremendously, from 35% to 15% for companies, small and big businesses. That's going to be a job creator like we haven't seen since Ronald Reagan. It's going to be a beautiful thing to watch. Companies will come, they will build, they will expand, new companies will start, and I look very, very much forward to doing it. We have to renegotiate our trade deals.
All right, so here he goes with his Reaganomics. Now, this is what we talked about last night. Donald Trump, in a very concise manner, became an evangelist for trickle-down economics. And to me, I'm wondering, did people miss that? Because he's not only an evangelist for trickle-down economics, he's a good evangelist for trickle-down economics. Like, he can sell it. He even has an article written about him today, and that he retweeted out about him being a billionaire. What was it? Working class, blue-collar billionaire, a blue-collar billionaire. So he's simultaneously selling America trickle-down economics, which is going to benefit him tremendously. And he's also selling us this economic populism. So somehow he's convincing a lot of people out there that he is this blue collar billionaire. And this is the perfect example at the point in the debate where and this was at the very beginning. This was in the first 5 minutes where he really just outlined this double down on Reaganomics and trickle down economics. The theory is a thing that really worries me. This idea that all we have to do to stimulate economic growth is cut taxes. And if we cut taxes for the wealthy, and if we cut taxes for corporations, then that's automatically going to stimulate economic growth. That idea has been so pervasive in our American lexicon for the last 40 years, almost 40 years, that to see a resurgence coming in the form of economic populism, in the guise of economic populism. In other words, he's trying, and he is convincing half of America that the economic populist position should be to cut taxes for the wealthiest and for corporations. And he's doing a good job at selling that. I hope that people who are economic progressives can see how problematic that is and how important it is that, if nothing else, we push back on that message. Now, here's the problem with Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton is not capable of pushing back against that message, even if there are varying degrees of differences between whatever, the trumped up trickle down, say that 5 times fast. That was lame. I mean, we don't need catchphrases. We need somebody who can destroy this paradigm, this theory, before it plants seeds in America that we spent the last 20 years trying to uproot these Reaganomic seeds of an economic theory that people just take for the gold standard. People take it for granted that cutting taxes will automatically lead to economic growth and job creation. And that has not been the case. Case in point, during the credit crunch, during the Bush tax cut years, before the credit crunch, right? The Bush tax cut years, we saw some economic growth that dropped off the precipice around 2007, 2008. And then we saw where there was this tremendous amount of wealth that was being pent up by corporations that had over $2 trillion in cash in reserves. They were not investing it. So it is not a one-to-one relationship. You cannot let this idea get into the, first of all, you can't let it get into the American psyche again, because we've just started a process of uprooting it. But you sure as hell cannot let Donald Trump conflate economic populism with trickle-down economics, because you're going to have an entire swath of Americans who will think that the economic populist thing to do would be to cut taxes for the rich and for corporations. And as no shit Sherlock, no duh as it is to us, like those of us who pay attention, we're like, no, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. The problem is it's going to make a lot of sense to people who buy into this blue collar billionaire bull. That's a problem. And people believe that. And people are buying into that. And just because he ostensibly opposes NAFTA and TPP, you know, all of a sudden Donald Trump is getting this blessing of economic populism from people who know better. Like, you know better. You know that Donald Trump's, first of all, his tax policy is a free for all. It's a windfall for the wealthiest. But then at the same time, you say, okay, we're not going to even discuss that. We won't even, I hear commentators not even discussing that because they're just pointing out the fact that, oh, he opposes TPP. You know, he can oppose, even if we don't have TPP, his economic tax plans will exacerbate inequality in America. And to see him on stage last night, just seamlessly conflating that blue collar billionaire nonsense that people now have written articles about, and people now really are passing off this economic populism of Donald Trump as being, you know, something that we need to cut taxes for the wealthiest. That was and I'll be honest with you, I think that was the biggest red flag for me. Like, I knew all along, and I've been saying it all along, that Donald Trump was going to take the Republican economic positions. Last night, he demonstrated that, but he demonstrated that in the guise of being this economic populist, all because he opposes the TPP. Listen, I know Hillary Clinton is going to sign the TPP. I also know that Donald Trump will sign the TPP. All he has to do is pretend like he made it somehow a better deal, and people, without changing one line, without changing a single period or comma, all he has to do is say, well, I negotiated it and we got a better deal. You know, whatever that was Obama did, that was the weakest deal. And, you know, I know how to make a deal. So this is a great deal. And people will believe that. And somehow he's going to convince, no, not somehow, he has convinced a large part of America. Like, I mean, what are we at now? What is he in the polls? People really believe that he is somehow an economic populist, and now he has mixed Reaganomics with economic populism. They don't work together like that.